trade wars weighing on China's economy. Second quarter growth, the slowest in 27 years. Now, joining me to talk about exactly what this means, let's jump into the money pit. Jamie Metzl, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council, is with me. Jamie, this number 6.2, we don't know whether it's accurate or not, we never really do know, but it's the fact that they are prepared to admit to a number at the lower end does suggest that trade tariffs are having an effect.
Yeah, both trade tariffs and there are some big, significant structural problems in the Chinese economy, and the two are connected because the trade war is certainly putting pressure on China, and the Chinese government knows that it needs to reform its economy to address its debt and other structural issues. But while there is this drag, it also is addicted to stimulus to try to keep the economy moving forward because there are political ramifications of economic growth slowing too rapidly.
Right, but the trade tariffs, though, is the part that can be easily remedied in the sense of get a deal with the United States. Right. So how far do you think the Chinese are prepared on principle, on pride, to continue to fight against a deal with from the U.S.?
Well, it's a very difficult situation for them because if this was easy, if they could do what they've done in the past, which is buy off the U.S. government with some promises and some purchases, they would have already done that. And the U.S. is pushing pretty hard on the kinds of structural reforms that are difficult for China because they have political ramifications. The party centrality is the core of China's government system. Right. It's also one of the biggest problems that the United States is trying to address.
Right, but that begs the question, how much pain will Xi inflict before internally he's under enough pressure? When people say, hang on, people are suffering, you know, the economy is going down, the rural is getting slammed.
Yeah, so that's one way of looking at it, certainly very legitimate. But China's game is to increase their self-reliance, and already consumption is growing as a component of China's economy. So what Xi and his team believe they need to do is buy a little time so they can transition away from the great reliance they have on trade and technology imports from the West. But they are going to be very hesitant about making structural changes that will have political ramifications inside of China.
So, Jamie, give me your bottom line. Give me your thoughts on the number today, the situation, and how bad it gets.
So, as you said, we don't know if this 6.2% is real. My guess is it's not real. I would bet anything, really, that growth in China is actually slower. I think China is facing some real and very significant problems, and one of the biggest problems that they have is debt. Their debt load is manageable as long as they have economic growth. But if their economic growth is slowing, they could have a cascading debt problem. Right. So what they need to do is have stimulus, but also reform. And so I'm starting to really worry about the future prospects of the Chinese economy, but they are betting also that Trump's political base in the United States will collapse.
Well, that's the farmers. That's the farmers who are dependent. But if you're President Trump today, as you've seen his tweets, you're feeling a little bit satisfied when you say that your policy of tariffs is hurting. The Chinese want a deal. They should have stuck to the deal that they had.
Yeah, so Trump is in a strong, relatively stronger position now as a result of these numbers. But Trump also needs a deal because in the United States we are transitioning into this next political phase, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on Trump to say, well, what have you done? We've seen the dust kicked in the air. What are the actual results on China, on North Korea, and many other things?
Jamie, always good to have you. Thank you, sir, taking time. We appreciate it. Thank you.